Okay guys, another video here. There's been some comments about respect and how people that are firearm enthusiasts actually present themselves. I'm very low-key, relaxed. I'm not trying to put on a TV show for you. I'm not trying to get on Discovery. I'm not trying to make money off of my videos. All I'm trying to do is just voice my opinion, respect others as much as possible. I do ask for respect in return. I'll earn that, of course, by my quality of videos and what I say in my videos. So take it for that. Once again, I'm in my, I guess you call it my workshop, if you will. It's not even close to being a workshop yet because I'm limited in what I can do. But one of the things I thought about was gun control. I'm not for gun control at all, but everybody's talking about, why are they even saying gun control? And the reason for that is, what I'm guessing it is that people are saying that guns are the root of why we're having this violence thing come up. Now, everybody watched Miami Vice and went through the 1980s drug boom, and it was in the 70s, but nobody hears about gun violence in the 70s, do they? In the 80s in Miami and many other parts of the country where drugs was a big deal, it was a big problem. And it's still a big problem, but we only seem to hear about the innocence of gun violence these days. You don't hear about the gang violence, you don't hear about the street shootings, the drive-bys as much as you did in the 90s with California and gangbangers and stuff like that, which I know nothing about. But I'm just saying that the news, it's not news anymore to hear that kind of gun violence. What they're only talking about is the innocence, the children. The school shootings, the church shootings, the open forum, if you will, for local population. So in the next part of this video, I'm going to talk about an idea I have. This is just an introduction. So it's just an idea. Maybe somebody's got some input. Maybe somebody's got some more savvy info that they can do. But this is just part one. So this might be a little bit longer for me to explain. But I'm going to do my best to talk it through with you guys. So follow me and tell me what you think of my suggestion. Some notes down so that I can formulate this video a little bit better. Okay, this is the deal. Gun violence. I've seen a few videos where you go, people compile off the FBI websites and you Google gun violence statistics in the United States. So I've always found that they're kind of vague. In some of the interviews on TV, you see people say, well, how many deaths have there been in the United States? Some things they don't look at really is the number of people in the United States, the number of people in certain cities in the United States where these deaths are taking place, the types of weapons that are being used, and this got my mind thinking. I spent 20 years in the military working with, my rating, if you will, as an enlisted sailor was aviation administration. Yeah, that's really boring, I get it, but one of the things I learned was how to track and coordinate or collate information. An example, a certain type of aircraft, let's say F-18, F-14, S-3, A-6 Intruder, EA-6B Prowler, P-3 Orion, helicopters of variant types. Every incident that takes place with one of these type of aircraft is recorded and compiled and given to the Secretary of Defense. They need to know exactly what the mission capabilities are of our military aviation-wise. Okay, so say something bad happens to an aircraft. They want to know exactly what was the expense, what type of aircraft it was, the date it took place. You know, there's a myriad of information, certain codes that you use to say how it happened. Was it on the ground? Did it happen in the air? Was there another aircraft that hit another aircraft or something? Was it maintenance error? Was it pilot error? All these different things come together. Was it were the winds too heavy and made the aircraft tilt on a wing, and you know the major maintenance was caused to the aircraft because of that? So was it a weather issue? So what I thought was, everybody's talking about the gun violence and saying, well, where's the danger? Where's the situations happening? Everybody's blaming the so-called black rifle or the assault rifle. And I got another comment on that later. But what I thought should happen is that a nationwide database that could be developed to access by the appropriate agencies that track by city and region. Okay, the situation, in other words, what was it, a crime or was it an accident? The type of firearm that was used, handgun, shotgun, semi-automatic rifle, or full automatic rifle. Caliber specific. And the situation and how the firearm was used and what was the result. In other words, an injury, a death, arm, leg, head, chest, you know, whatever. All these things can be put into a database so that we can actually see what's happening. So I was thinking off the top of my head when these things happened, is there a specific determination can be made as to where the crime is and why is it happening? We're talking city, residential, rural, and how responsible firearms are being used, and overall where the problem exists in our country. I think that if we can compile this information, it would be very helpful. So who would put this together? Who would input the data? Okay, I think it would be all police departments nationwide, and it would be correlated with your local hospital. Okay, so they would have a hospital side and a police side, and if a policeman is in a situation where there's a firearm being used, say injury or no injury, he would go into the database, no injury at the time. If there was an injury at the time, of course that person would probably get some medical assistance, life or death, you know, depending. So the hospital would have to therefore report, and I think they do report as well, but I don't think they communicate to compile this data information with specifics. They just say gun injury or firearm injury. They don't say what type of gun, what caliber, and so on. So I think that there could be a database nationwide that all hospitals and police agencies would be involved to input the data by the situation. It would have to be a very easy database to imply. In other words, drop-down menus, click mouse entries, maybe minimal typing, male, age brackets, that kind of thing. Idiot proof has to be made. It should report conflicts, entered data, and reviewed by an outside agency. In other words, compared. How many injuries happened that were reported in medical requirements? It could be morgue or just band-aids. And then how did that correlate with the police entry? So I was talking about the hospitals correlating their data with the police departments in their local area, and this done nationwide. It's very important that these are accurate, so there has to be an outside source to compare the data. In other words, on the, let's say January 1st, 2013, there was a gun shooting, and it involved a crime. Okay, the handgun was a 1911, caliber was .45, and there was no injuries. So there would be no entry from the hospital, but there would be an entry from the police. And the police entry will say no entries. That would automatically flag that there would be no entry at the local hospitals. Let's say that there was an injury, somebody walks into the hospital and they say they have an injury. Now this is what doesn't happen very often, but you have to account for it in some way. Somebody walks in with an injury, they say it was potentially a gunshot wound. The person says no, it wasn't a gunshot wound, but the doctors say yeah, it was a gunshot wound, and what do? They notify the police. So the police all of a sudden gets notified by the hospital saying that we had somebody come in injured with a gunshot wound. Immediately both agencies, the hospital and the police, will now have to go into the database and they'll have to make an entry. Through investigation, they determine what was the injury, how did it happen. I don't know exactly how that whole thing works, but these are the kind of situations that need to be recorded. They'll just say, oh, I injured myself shooting, or I was just walking down the street and somebody shot me. Okay, but they'll be able to know the caliber, they'll be able to know the situation, and they'll also be able to know whether or not the person is somewhat telling the truth, or whether it's you know, under the table type of issue. They're lying about how it happened. But these are some situations that you need to cover so that they get involved into gun violence and how it happens. So what does it take for this database to happen? I imagine it's going to have to take some money. This is not something that I want to try to run with and make happen. This is something that whoever sees this video maybe has an idea, maybe can present it. This is what I would think that Biden and his little group are talking about, but I doubt it. You know, in the military, these type of things are done, required on a daily basis. To report the status of your aircraft, they report the mission capability. Well, when you compare that to gun violence, I think that the mission capability or the actual tragedy of gun violence in this country is something that should be recorded. So I would think that somebody in the government, or somebody in a the NRA maybe, is somebody that could present it. They compile this database, and something that they can put on the web and have it be paid for by the NRA memberships, and make it mandated by our government that all police forces and hospitals participate, and throw funding in their face. You know, you're not going to get government funding, you're not going to get state funding if you don't participate. And yeah, it would take a little extra work. Might even make some more jobs. Might get somebody that's sitting in the police department and the hospitals now that would be recording this data. But it would give us a better idea as far as where gun violence takes place. And I think it would be something that would help us in the right direction and show the public exactly what gun violence is in the United States, instead of comparing us to Britain, which yeah, they got low numbers, but they don't have as many people. It's a different community. You know, these countries out there that they ban guns already. I think, you know, just in my opinion, I think they found other ways to do their crime. I think that they're using knives. In Japan, guns are illegal there too, but they're still present. But what they do is they stab you. When I was in Japan, stationed over there, we had a sailor that was grabbed by some people, brought into a van, if you will, and then 6 guys just started stabbing into him with their knives. They threw him back out on the street with like 24 stab wounds, and then drove on. So, no, that's not gun violence, but I don't know. I think I'd probably rather be shot than stabbed 24 times. Either way, it shouldn't happen. I don't know why we treat each other the way we do, but you know, I think that a suggestion of compiling a database that's mandated nationwide would be something better than the FBI numbers that you get. That they do show rifle and handgun, but they're not showing specifics. And I think that's something that we could do, and it should be open to the public to look at on a daily basis as well, so we could see exactly where these gun situations are coming from. Okay, my final statement, closing. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is my baby, of course. I want to put something out to everybody that may own something like this. Here's the deal. This is a AR-15 based on an M4 style, based in caliber .223, 5.56. It is not an assault rifle. Okay, I'm pretty serious about this. I'm not joking about this at all. I'd like everyone that makes videos that may own a similar type of weapon to just ban using that term. Let's not call these things anything more than what they are. The news is going to choose to call this an assault rifle. I have no intention of assaulting anyone with this firearm. It's a firearm. It's not an assault rifle. It's a gun. It's a rifle. There's a lot of things that we can call this, but to put a name on it is wrong. This rifle is not going to hurt anybody. Neither am I. The people that commit crimes with weapons like this are psychos, in my opinion. So let's make this throughout the community. Stop calling these things assault rifles, because that's not what they are. Okay? They can assault somebody with a bat just as easily, probably easier. So let's be nice to these guys, okay? These are our hobby, our love, our right. So it's not an assault rifle.